When I wake up in the morning, love, and the sunlight hurts my eyes, something without warning, love, bears heavy on my mind. Hey, then I look at you, and the world's all right with me. Yes. Just one look at you, and I know it's gonna be a lovely day. Lovely day. Lovely day. Hey, that's it right there. Greetings, 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 beautiful beings. This is Brother Lou, co-founder of Undugu, which is a conscious community of men gathering to empower ourselves, one another, and I am the co-founder as well of the Great Spirit Healing House here in California, another safe space for individuals and couples interested in immersing themselves in this all-inclusive healing experience of transforming the body, the mind, and the spirit. That's a mouthful, sis.
But it's so important. You have to say it all.
I know you got to get through it all, but please tell the people who you are on this
Thank
level.
you so much, Brother Lewis. My name is Althea K. Lawton Thompson. I am the owner of Aerobics, Yoga, and More Fitness, a corporate wellness company based here in Atlanta. And I'm also the founder and creator of Living Life Limitlessly Wellness. And we host international healing retreats around the world, 17 to date. And based on what happens with coronavirus, maybe we'll add 2 more this year. We'll see.
That is so, so cool. It's so beautiful to be back here again with you on Soulful Serenity. You know, I think people have responded and said some of the things that we're doing have been very helpful and beneficial in terms of the meditative experiences. But, you know, these are the things that we do all the time. How cool has this been for you in terms of this experience of just kind of coming on and sharing with us and doing this thing on a weekly basis?
You know, it's been really, really magical. I talk all the time with people about what we can really benefit from based on the quarantine. And this is one of those things. I don't think that you and I would be sitting here doing live streaming of meditation and soulful serenity and playing music and then putting that out there live to the community, to the world, for people to learn not only more about meditation, but more about you, more about me, and then just enjoying the environments where we are, you know? So I think this has been wonderful, and I'm glad that we are on 3. We are number 3
Number
of our Soulful Serenity session.
the beautiful backdrop that you have there in your backyard. It looks so lovely, peaceful, and serene.
Thank you. Same to you. I love what I see going on over there in California.
In the cactus garden here in the back, and you hear the birds in the backdrop.
I
So
do.
this is all a part of our natural and live experience today. So we're going to start it a little bit different today. I know we use,
Okay.
kind of going into our particular, how we're going to meditate today. But I want to start off with the breathing exercise today, and I want you to kind
Okay.
of lead us through something very impromptu, something that would just be opening us up, and maybe we can set our intentions after that and begin with some different flow today.
Yeah, I think that would be nice. The breathing exercise that we've been doing for the last 2 weeks has been that allowing breath, where we're not really forcing any air in. But you know, since this is also supposed to be a teaching space, I think it would be a good idea to try alternate nostril breathing. And I'll tell you why this is important, especially now. One of the ways that the CDC has recommended that people test themselves at home to see if they might have one of the symptoms of coronavirus is to breathe in, hold their breath for 5 to 10 seconds, see if that's difficult, if it forces coughing, and then let the air go. But one of the other things that's really important is to know, is one of your nostrils more congested or inflamed than the other? it is possible to have germs on one side, bacteria on one side that's not in the other. So, alternate nostril breathing today will be a great way for us to cleanse each one of our nostrils, to open up our breathing so that it's flowing easily and evenly, right and left, but then also so people can do one of these tests that's being recommended by the CDC for coronavirus. So, does that sound good to you?
Sounds perfect to me. And I should back up and say, during this particular time we're going through in our country, it's very important for us to stop and breathe and to have these
Absolutely.
exercises. So I think that's a great way for us to start today.
All right. And I think it will also be relaxing and calming. So if people are feeling fearful, uncomfortable, uncertain, this is a perfect thing to do to just slow it all down. So, when we talk about alternate nostril breathing for people who have been doing research, maybe they've been taking yoga classes, there are recommendations on how you actually position your hand. So, one of those recommendations is not always the most comfortable for me because I'm double jointed and some of my fingers don't like to work with others, but I'm going to start with what you'll find online. It is to lift your thumb, to bend in the forefinger and middle finger, and then bring the ring finger and pinky finger together on the outside. It looks a little bit like a black Greek letter organization hand sign, but it's really for alternate nostril breathing. And see how you're having, that's what I was saying. Like my fingers don't really like to do that. So what I tell people is just go ahead and fold down that ring finger. And I know that this one is a black Greek letter organization hand sign, but we're going to do it because it's alternate nostril breathing. So you turn the hand to face you, and the thumb will push on one nostril while the pinky finger presses on the opposite one. And so, what we'll do is we'll start with pressing down one nostril. We'll breathe in on the open nostril, hold our breath, switch, blow out of the open nostril. Breathe in on the open nostril, hold breath, and we'll go back and forth. And I think what we'll do is just do maybe two on each side so we're not here too long, but give everyone a chance to feel the rhythm. Sounds good?
Sounds beautiful. Are we closing our eyes during this particular
It's
exercise?
completely up to you. I see you got on the cool man sunglasses, so we don't know if the eyes are open or closed for you. I don't know what's happening in California, but I'm probably going to keep my eyes open. And I think that for viewers, if this is your first time, it would be helpful if you keep your eyes open so we can do this actually as an educational process. And if you already know it at home, you can go ahead and close your eyes. All right, so here we go. We have the thumb up. We're going to blow air out, take the thumb, close one nostril, and let's breathe in for a count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold your breath, switch, continue to hold your breath, and let's blow air out for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep your pinky where it is. Breathe in for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold your breath, switch, continue to hold, and blow out for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wait a beat. Breathe in, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it, switch, blow out, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wait a second. Last time, breathe in, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Switch, blow out, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax, and let's spend just a moment in silence, breathing in and out slowly back to our allowing breath. And now I will ask us to close our eyes. All right, Lewis. So, how do you feel?
Amazing. It's so interesting. I just saw Iyanla Van Zant. She did a live meditation, and she did that that nostril breathing.
Mm-hmm.
So powerful. And I've done that a few times through the yoga practices, but
Yeah.
it's a really good cleansing and a way to clean out, that energy and create something new. So I really appreciate that exercise. Is that
Thank
something
you.
that you do often during?
Not that often. I'll tell you, the only time that I do it is when I'm also using the neti pot to clean out my nasal passages. And just in case someone doesn't know what the neti pot is, they come in many different shapes and sizes, but it's usually a little pot about this size with a little spout to it. You put water in there, maybe some saline. You could put one or two drops of essential oil, a little apple cider vinegar if you wanted to, and the water is room temperature or warm, not hot, not cold. And you just insert the nozzle in one nostril and tip the head to pour, and the water comes out. Afterwards, alternate nostril breathing is a wonderful way to equalize and balance again. So now we're in pollen season here in Georgia. It's a great time to use the neti pot and do some alternate nostril breathing. So I'm definitely doing it more now.
Yeah, that's so powerful. I also heard I heard her say as well with that cleansing breath. She was talking about how vigilant we should be about taking care of ourselves during this particular.
Yeah,
She was talking a lot about self care as a top priority. And even before she began that breathing exercise, she was saying how we have to be very vigilant about that. So that's really good for us to clean ourselves out. And I think, like you said, during this particular pollen season and everything else going on with us emotionally, I think it helps, right?
it does. Breath is the key to everything. Period. It can be relaxing, it can be focusing, it can be meditative. Anything you need to do mentally, you need to start with your breath. That's just my personal opinion. So might not find that one on Google, but if you go to althealawtonthompson.com, you might find that one there
And if they come to some of your workshops or your retreats, I'm pretty sure they're
for
gonna
sure.
breathing is everything. Breathing through every exercise.
That's
So
it.
I'm gonna start off by asking you, first of all, how are you doing there in Georgia? And tell me something that you're grateful for right now.
Oh
A
my
lot
gosh.
do a lot of different things, but I really want to start off there with what are you grateful for?
Let me start by saying this, Lewis. For people who have not been tuning in to Soulful Serenity with Lewis and me, Althea, Lewis and I do this gratitude thing anytime we're in the same space.
That's so
It's
good.
just what we do. And one time I brought paper. Remember this, Lewis? We were with our friend Jermail. We were at the mountain, at Stone Mountain here in Georgia, and I brought paper for everyone, pen for everyone, and a shovel. Actually, my little shovel's right over there. And we had to fill that sheet of paper with everything we were grateful for, everything. Everybody went to their section out in the woods that day. And when we were done, everybody took the shovel, we dug the earth, and we balled it up and we put it down in the earth. Because in ancient African traditions, the things that you were appreciative for, thankful for, that you really cherished, you put it in the earth. They believed that heaven was in the earth. So I thought that was a really beautiful practice. And so back to your question, what am I grateful for? It's almost hard to say because we'd be here for a while, like me filling the paper.
Look at
I'm
you.
grateful.
Yes.
I am grateful for this exact moment. I'm grateful for being able to breathe, alternate nostril breathing. I'm grateful for this beautiful weather, for the foliage around me, for the birds chirping, my ability to see you, my ability to speak to you, my ability to smell the air, to hear, to feel this, my ability for technology to be able to transport what we're saying and what we're doing to everyone else. I am thankful for my connection to a higher power, my higher self, my husband, my children, you as my friend, my family, my mother, my brother, my children. And before I go on and on and on and on, that's as much as I could get in like 1 minute. I
That's
got to turn it back on you. Go,
appreciative.
Lewis. Give your minute of gratitude.
Appreciative of this this beautiful day that we're in right now. I'm appreciative of being on here with you to be able to give people some helpful tips and some tools that could help them just get by and really appreciate this moment that we're in. I'm very happy and grateful to have love and support around. Grateful to have some beautiful friends and a multitude of resources that I could tap into at any point in time. And just very, very grateful and mindful that uh, we can heal people and use our
Yeah,
gifts to really supply the world with something that it really needs at this time. So yes, very grateful for that. Thank you for asking, sis.
that's powerful. That is powerful.
Yeah, and everything that you mentioned. Now, I'm going to turn it right back to you again and say, what ways are you giving to yourself at this time? Like, what
Oh,
things are you giving to yourself right now?
let
Uh,
me tell you, my morning routine is, gosh, man, it's phenomenal. And I keep saying this all the time. The quarantine is a gift. We absolutely have been gifted time. And so there's a lot of things I was doing normally, like morning meditation, coming outside. But I want to tell you what I've been doing with the gift of time, the extra time. Now, not only am I waking up naturally and coming outside to meditate, but I am incorporating my hot tea every morning and drinking different types of hot tea. Sometimes it's mint if I want to be uplifted. Sometimes it's chaga mushroom if I feel like I want to boost my immunity and do some cleansing. Um, Sometimes it's Podarco tea, which is also an immunity booster, ginger, turmeric, just whatever is happening with me each day. I'm very, very thoughtful about the tea that I'm drinking. Sometimes drinking it as is, no sweetener. Other times adding in some natural organic tea, or excuse me, honey, which is also boosting for our immunity. um, Eating fruits every morning as long as I have fresh berries here, raspberries, blackberries, blueberries, strawberries. I'm eating those, taking my supplements, vitamin A, E, zinc, eating oranges because we keep oranges on deck here at the Thompson house. So we've got just oranges all the time. So I've got my vitamin C. But once I'm either done doing that or I do that after, that meditation is the key. And I want to say that meditation for me is not thinking, it's me getting the thoughts out of the way. I'm not doing a guided meditation with music. I don't have anyone talking to me. I don't, this is me personally. I'm not reading a book or a scripture or coming into it with an affirmation. I'm being quiet because I need to receive. I must receive the messages that are being downloaded during this time of stillness. And for me, I have a gift of hearing. So messages are being told to me during my meditation. And it just lifts me for the rest of the day. It guides me. And I have to start that way.
I think on that note, I'm doing the same. That that meditation part, I think that's the way I give to myself each and every morning. I'm like
Yeah,
waking up without that alarm clock and really just being in tune with my spirit and making sure that I'm quieting my mind. A lot of times there's nothing, just the quietness is enough in itself.
that's enough.
Yeah, that's the part. And that's how I definitely did. I want to switch gears, sis, because I know we're very mindful always about how we do this and
Wait,
how
hold on one second, Lewis. That we're getting a little bit of wind feedback from you on your side. So I just want to tell you, you might want to just speak up a little bit louder.
cool, no problem. Can you hear
Okay,
me?
there we go. Yeah.
Cool. So I want to switch gears and I want to do something that I wanted to do this for a while, probably on session one, but I want to ask you about uh, AYM in particular. I want you to tell
Okay.
people what it stands for, and I want you to tell them about this corporate wellness program and how you got into that, and just tell us a little bit more about that because I think that's a very intriguing story, and I think it's important for people to know how we arrived here at this point.
Okay, that's awesome. I appreciate your asking. AYM stands for aerobics, yoga, and more. And it originally the company was not called AYM. It was called Lifelines Fitness Consulting. And I established it in Maryland, in Baltimore, Maryland, back in 1998. Yep, I was pregnant. 1998. And we started off offering health and wellness classes for hospitals and government agencies in DC and Maryland. And it really grew from there. We were doing traditional fitness at that time, like aerobics and kickbox. But I started researching yoga when I was pregnant with my first child, Maurice, and my first son, And I used yoga and breathing techniques to get through labor with a 9.6-ounce baby. That was a big boy, and 24 hours of labor. And so, what we found was when we started adding mind body classes to what we were offering in the corporate setting, it really differentiated us from all of the other corporate wellness companies, because there are a plethora of them in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area that offer classes like aerobics and kickbox. And now we have CrossFit. We didn't back then, interval training, weights. There weren't that many people doing yoga and mind body exercises at that time. So we were really one of the first. And when we relocated here to Atlanta in 2005, from Maryland, I decided to open a studio. So we changed the name to Aerobics, Yoga, and More because we wanted the studio to represent what we offered. And yoga was a big piece of it. Anything that was aerobic was a big piece of it. But the more was the stuff like understanding the 8 limbs of yoga, going through the 7 spiritual gifts from Deepak Chopra, Pilates. It was anything that would be considered mind body. So that was really, really important to me at that time. And now, since we closed the studio, we had the financial recession, the economic recession between 2008 and 2012. We closed the studio in 2012 and really went full steam ahead with corporate wellness. And since that time, we have taken mind, body, as well as physical fitness into some of the top companies based here in Atlanta, as well as religious institutions, educational institutions, colleges, and medical facilities. So it's really been a beautiful experience so far.
That's amazing. And can you tell me just real briefly about the motivating force behind, living life limitlessly as you move from the corporate wellness to living life limitlessly? I think it's important to note that as well because I think you took it up to a whole nother level when you started these wellness retreats, and that should be noted as well.
Yeah, it's kind of a sad story in a way, but it just depends on what your spiritual beliefs are. For me, it's not as sad now as it was in the beginning. My sister Yvonne helped me run the corporate wellness that we had up in Maryland when we were working with Johns Hopkins Hospital and Sinai Hospital and Wellbridge and all of those different government agencies. And when my family relocated here to Atlanta, she packed up everything and moved down here to Atlanta as well to help me run the studio. But sadly, in 2012, she lost a battle with leukemia. And I'm just going to plug in my power cable because it looks like I'm about to run out of power here. Um, she lost a battle with leukemia. And while we were talking about her transition, she mentioned that there were things that she wanted to do in life that she had not had a chance to do. And that's where Living Life Limitlessly came from. So after she passed away, or when she was first diagnosed, is when I hosted my first retreat. And it was from working with her, going to the hospital with her and her leukemia treatments, and trying to balance managing my family here in Atlanta, that I realized that people need a break from real life. We need a break from finances. We need a break from family struggles, from health issues, just whatever's going on in our life. And that's where Living Life Limitlessly Retreats was born. And now we've been hosting the retreats not just in the US, but internationally in South Africa, Cape Town, in Bali, Qatar, Costa Rica, and several Caribbean islands. So it's really amazing what came out of a sad situation has ended up being a blessing for so many people that are going through something similar.
It is an amazing story, sister.
I'm just going to pop off just to get my power cord.
Problem. What an amazing story for those people that are listening and tuned in, just so that they can hear. I think it's important for us to understand how we turn something that we're passionate about or something that could easily have been a tragedy for most people, and we could have just gotten stuck in a place to turn that into something to motivate you, to encourage other people to do
Yeah.
something different in regards to wellness and health and living life limitlessly is amazing. And I just want to know real quick. I know we're gonna end it soon, but how have you grown since that period of losing your
Oh,
and turning that? What ways have you grown? Because I think that's important to understand how we can come out of a tragedy and really turn that into something that really starts to amplify who we are. Because I think you've become more of who you are as a person now with this living life limitlessly, this journey that you've been on for these last, what, 7, 8 years now.
yeah.
So
Uh, gosh, I mean,
I know
I
that's,
personally feel like a completely different person.
yeah,
Personally, I do. And you'd probably have to ask my sons and my husband, my mother, my brother, what have they noticed? But my spiritual walk is completely different. Um, it's hard even to put into words.
sure.
And I will say this, when I was doing the corporate wellness yoga classes and meditation classes, it was almost like it wasn't real. I don't know if that's going to come through to people who are watching this, but this is really important what I'm about to say. There is a difference between getting on a mat and wearing yoga clothing and doing the moves in order the right way and sitting still and connecting with the spirit of someone who's no longer here and hearing what they're telling you to do and being obedient to messages from God in the universe, telling you to do good and positive things that are scary to you because you don't believe that you can do it. You don't believe that you're strong enough, smart enough, resourceful enough, experienced enough to do it. But God, the universe, spirits, angels are telling you to do it. That is what has changed for me. And that's my truth. So I don't know what other people believe. I'm not here to debate it. But the question to me was, how have I changed since she's passed? And my spiritual walk is real. It's not scripted. It's not a program. I don't need a certification from someone to do this journey. This is something that's deeper and powerful. And I really appreciate your asking me that and allowing me to tell my truth. Thank you.
And that's what Soulful Serenity is all about. I think we get a lot of programs that are so, programmed and pre-programmed that you don't really get a chance to dig into the soul and the heart of the matter, which I appreciate that real answer and that spiritual walk and how personal that's been for you and how you've evolved as a person. I want to do something before we end on that note of what you just talked about. I want to do a few affirmations. I want us to kind of,
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna start off. I'll just say we'll run through some alphabets. We can do A through, I don't know. Pick a letter. You pick a number.
G, G,
A
G.
through G. All right. So I'll do A. You do B. We'll just kind of come in like that until we get
Oh,
to
this
G.
is so dope. Okay.
Yeah. I just figure people need to know about self talk and what you're speaking to yourself and how you are communicating because that's the most important thing. So I
Those
think
words are powerful. The words we say to ourselves. Oh my gosh, Lewis, say that again. Please repeat that.
we speak to ourselves is so powerful. That self talk that you have throughout the course of the day, that's a part of setting that your intentions, your when you think about serenity, you think about the things that you will experience during the course of the day. A lot of things come down to your self talk. What you're speaking to yourself directly. So I just had this idea. I said, well, let's try something different today.
All
So
right.
affirmations. I'm gonna start us off, and you just come right on in. I am
Okay.
aware of who I am. I am
Hmm.
awareness.
I am boldly brave enough to step into spaces I don't know about.
Mm. I am confident and conscious, pure consciousness. with a collective group of people that includes my immediate community that fuel me every day.
Yeah. I am daring and willing to do what's necessary for my joy. I am daring and willing to do what's necessary for my joy.
I am pure energy. I am effortless expansion.
Ooh,
I am eternal.
I am free. I am free. I have free will. I am absolutely free.
I am generously giving to myself, allowing grace to grow into the person that I'm becoming at this very moment.
Ooh, I love it.
Yeah, that's just freestyle. That's just off the
That
cuff.
was dope. We got to do that more
Got to
often.
do that again because I think it's so important for us to hear the words that we speak to ourselves.
Yes,
Affirmations are so important, especially at this time. You know, we have to know that we are more than the paycheck or what we do or the label or the role that we play in any given day. You are so much more than that.
that's right.
Attached our value to your value is so much greater than that. So that's where I wanted to end, and I wanted us to just come back to that self-talk. I know we do a lot of these things on our own, but something dope and freestyling it and along the way. So
I
much love.
thought it was great.
Yeah, peace and light to you. Anything you want to leave with the people today on this Soulful Serenity session? Last words, and just tell the people something that you want them to hear and take away from today.
You are powerful. You are more powerful than you know. You are powerful. That's all I have to say. And I have to say thank you again, Lewis, for always sharing space with me on these Thursdays. It really means a lot. It's so much fun. And I got to cue up my lovely day music one more time just to take us out. Is that okay?
But we got to also tell the people where they can find us,
Oh,
and
yeah, that's right. I can't
yeah,
do.
can't leave without telling them. So why don't you start off? Or I know this is Undugu's page, but I got to yield to you sometimes, sis.
Okay, okay, okay. So I'll start and then I'll give it back to you.
Thank
You
you.
know, I feel a little bit like Eric B. and Rakim. I feel like we were about to leave and it was like, we can't leave without telling the people peace, peace, peace. Okay.
Peace.
Anyway. I'm sorry. I just went off the rails for a moment. But yes, you can find me at althealawtonthompson.com. On YouTube, I'm youtube.com/altheatized. On Instagram, at Althea Lawton Thompson, no spaces, no underscores. And on Facebook, facebook.com/altheatized. All right, what about you, Lewis and Undugu?
You can find us at Undugu Kickbacks or Undugu underscore kickbacks on Facebook and IG. Undugu, UNDUGU, like sister always does. UnduguKickbacks.com via web. You can check us out there. We got everything listed. We got something coming up on Sunday. We got a chop it up session virtually. Just get on and you can check out everything that we're doing there. We did have a question, sis, before we jump off.
Okay.
Brother Montreal came on and asked, how does alternate breathing benefit us? So just real quickly before we leave out, how does it benefit us again? He came on a little late, but
Okay, so you missed the first part. All right, so two ways. Physically, it helps to open up the nasal passages so that you're breathing more equally. And if one side is inflamed, if it's a little bit swollen, it lets you know and you're aware. So if you want to do something like the neti pot, which I talked about, it'll help to clear up those nasal passages so your breathing is more even. But from an energy perspective, it helps to balance out the energy on the right and left sides of the body. So as we're breathing in the same amount of time, holding it, blowing out, do the same thing on the opposite side. It makes right and left flow in an equal way. And we really need that to happen as well.
really, really
Thank you, Montrell, for the question, and thank you for watching.
Brother Montreal for tuning in. So now, sis, without further ado,
No, we can't yet. We
can't
can't
yet.
yet, Lewis. No, because you have to tell the people some of the programming that Undugu has going on. Please talk about like the poetry that you guys are doing. I know you've got some training with kids around poetry. You have to say that.
All right, so we have Poetry to the People with our dear brother Mario. He has it on every Tuesday. It's on, um, if you go on to the links, you can find Poetry to the People. That's for the youth. They just want to freely express themselves, and they do open mic sessions on Sunday. You can find all of this on Undugu Kickbacks on IG. We do it live via Zoom. It's a really, really cool program. We're going to have the Self Defense and Wellness Wednesday program that's going to kick up really soon.
Awesome.
That's with the kids and just teaching them healthy habits of eating and, you know, all kinds of great fun stuff with some self defense techniques built in there. We have so many programs. There's this one right here, Soulful Serenity, which is for the whole family. Um, we're also doing the Chop It Up sessions. We have the Bridge coming up in May. The Bridge is an exchange of information where brothers jump on. We talk about a lot of community action, things that we're doing in the community. It's kind of linking us all together, some of these organizations. Again, to chop it up, our main thing is coming in. We have the fitness challenge that the brothers are doing.
Oh,
Uh,
no, that is hilarious. But
and
go ahead. I'm going to let
the
you.
fitness challenge is uh, is going. We have, and that's crossing over a lot of different organizations that have come in to participate in this fitness challenge. That's going until May 1st, and it's
And I
pretty.
just have to say something about y'all's walking challenge. I'm sorry, but as a wife at home, watching my husband like, uh-oh, I only have this many steps. I gotta go. I'm on, the brothers on this team. How many teams do you actually have competing?
I think we have now. I think there's about 7 teams now, and
And how many people are on each team? Like seven
seven
to 10?
brothers, 67 brothers across the U.S. There's about 9 brothers on each team. We have 5 million steps that we have done since last week. We started on
Don't
last
say, don't you go, you went over that too fast. How many steps in
5
one week?
million steps, but over the course of last week, we had about we know it's about 2,200 miles. Okay, so far,
Wow, 2,200 miles you
yes,
all have walked
yeah, and that is
collectively.
yes, and that's 5 million steps. Okay, over 67 brothers. Um, yeah, and we started last week Monday. It's been an amazing journey that we have all been on together. It's been a lot of fun. There's been a lot of banter back and forth between men. Uh, and it's really just challenging us as brothers to get out here and to exercise, to be in physical, in our best physical condition that we can be during this quarantine period.
And
It's
let me just ask, are you the captain of a team,
I am
Lewis?
captain of one team, and my team alone has generated 1 million steps. I'm so proud of
Why are you trying to say it so fast?
our
1
team alone.
million, y'all. 1 million.
Steps. Last week, I almost injured myself. Great. Trying to get my steps in every day. I was trying to get about 20,000 steps in here, just to, and it's just been a beautiful thing to see so many men come together.
Yeah.
The goal is that we are all links in this chain. So we are as good as our weakest link, and we are all collectively doing it together. That's the beauty of it all. We got one brother that's done 229,000 steps.
Who is that?
Brother Stanley has over a hundred.
Oh my God, Stanley Doucette. I'm not surprised. 229,000 steps.
That's right.
This is
Shout
the
out
other
to
thing. We
yeah,
I think it's so interesting because I'm the wife at home supporting Maurice, my husband, as he's like putting these programs together online and kind of being behind the scenes, the technical side. But what I thought was really amazing that he did was he's a member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated.
shout out to them.
But the founder and creator of Black Man Labs is a member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. Now,
Yeah,
you would think that Alpha Phi Alpha would have their own team and Kappa Alpha Psi would have their own team, but that's not the case. I love how everything is mixed together. You have people from
Google,
different
Black Man
political
Lab.
organizations, community organizations, Greek letter organizations, colleges, high schools, different geographic areas, and they're all mixed together on different teams. I think that's the part. Like we have to get out of the divisiveness and the things that make us different and start seeing where we have similarities and we're all on the same team. So collectively, it's amazing that you all have walked 5 million steps, that you've walked 2,200 miles. I mean, your team is a million, but it's not about your team. It's about 60, how many did you say? 67 brothers around the country doing this.
Yeah. And I'm out here in Cali, and I get up, I wake up, and I see these brothers on, and I'm like, okay, all right. Um,
We're getting some chat messages. I'm not gonna.
it's all good, but I'm just so proud of the men collectively, like you said, not using those divisive things and really coming
That's
together
right.
at a really critical point. And I think it's just motivating so many people across the board. So it's really really cool, and I'm proud of what we're doing collectively. So
I am too. I'm
thank
proud being a sister, a wife, just one of the supporters of what you guys are doing. I am amazed at what you're doing. I love what you're doing. And it just shows how things work when people are willing to partner with each other. When the ego is out of the way, it doesn't matter who's leading, it doesn't matter whose organization it is. You just want to see everybody do well. And this is exemplary of that.
exactly, and that exemplifies what soulful serenity is about too.
Oh,
It's
yeah, let me get my music together because we got to sign
it's
off, right? I'm sorry, my bad.
about that time, it's about that time now. Love and light to everybody that watched us today. I hope you all got something really fantastic out of this session today. Um, Remember that breathing technique the sister did with us in the beginning, and remember to send some love to yourself with those self affirmations. And
Absolutely. Peace
that's
and light, everybody. Peace and light.
peace and light. You ready?
Mm. It does what? But then all I got to do, Lou, just look at you. And the world's all right with me. That's all it takes.
All it takes.
Just one. Mm.
Have to tell yourself
And what do you know? Mm. It's going to be what?
go. Beautiful.
All right. All right. I'm going to let you go. Peace, light, and love. See you later, Lewis.
See you later, sis. Peace and blessings.